And it took a while to make. What's up, everyone? Boost Ever Studios here, back again with a banger of the video. And today I'm going to be talking about the recent November 7th update on Become a Killer Recode. Yes, Become the Killer Recode has got a new update, and holy shit, there's a lot of good things to talk about here. Um, originally, what's funny? I do plan to make another video after this one, which I won't spoil what it will be, but it'll be a surprise once it comes out. But right now, I'm making a video talking about the recent update for Become the Killer Recode, which adds in a pretty good amount of content. 5 new killers, I think. Wait, hold on. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 brand new killers, 2 new survivors. Oh yeah, new weapons too. Like 3 new weapons, I think. Yeah, 3 new weapons. And of course, there's of course map changes too, and all that. And of course, 2 survivors got reworked, and of course, as usual, new skins. Anyways, the first things first, I'm gonna be definitely talking about the new killers and survivors that were added into this update, and we'll go on from there. So, yeah, let's get started, shall we? Well. Look who's came back. That's right. We're talking about DBX once again. Yes, DBX is actually added into Recode. Which, okay, I'm gonna be honest, I was kind of somewhat expecting him to be added in Recode at some point. I mean, after all, he was added in Legacy, a while back before, Recode came back and all that. But then it's like, I wonder if he'll actually make a return in Recode. Of course, I did make a concept of how he would be like in Recode, and guess what? He gets added in Recode, which is still amazing. Again, I kind of had a feeling that he would come back eventually. Again, not entirely sure, but still, I have a feeling he would come back maybe, but again, who knows? But yeah, DBX is back, and he's actually pretty cool. He's actually just as fun to play as he is in Legacy. Let me explain. So, of course, in Recode he works a lot differently than how he works in Legacy. So let's go over to his stats and his 2 abilities, and of course his well his downside. Yes, DBX in Recode has a downside. Um, so DBX has 90 health and 42 sprint speed, so it's not too bad. He's definitely faster than an average speed of survivors. Now we get to his 2 abilities. The first ability is his attack, which obviously, he just swings his claw out and deals damage. He deals less damage, but of course it's a fast cooldown. Now we get to his second ability, Thief. When used, DBX will highlight killers. Yes, he highlights killers this time. For what reason? Simple. Because DBX's entire playstyle is that he's meant to stick around with his team. Which makes sense considering he's, let's just say he has a downside, what we're going to do in a moment. So, of course, Thief just allows DBX to highlight the killers, basically his teammates, to know where they're at, which can be useful if you know what's going on, because technically it will help you know where the survivor's at in the process. Um, and also another thing too, which I'll explain once I'm done talking about his stuff. So that's his abilities out of the way. Now we're going to talk about his downside. DPX only has one downside, and that's just the fact that he cannot jump. Meaning that he can easily be countered by survivors. All survivor needs to do is just simply jump and stand on top of something that DBX cannot reach. There you go. They're just safe from DBX's wrath. Now I'm going to get to the coolest part. Remember when I mentioned I made a concept of how he would work in Recode? Well, let's just say in the concept, um, I gave him voice lines. Yes, I actually voiced that to DBX in the concept, and the voice lines actually got added in to DBX in the game. Not only that, I even made a chase theme for DBX, by the way, which you can actually go check it out on my channel right now if you want to give a nice listen to DBX's chase theme, which pretty much is the official soundtrack at this point. Yeah, you can go ahead and listen to it right now. It's really available on my YouTube channel right there right now. Yes, I literally made voice lines, which means I pretty much voice acted DBX, which makes sense. It's my character, so it makes sense for me to voice act the character. And of course, I made the freaking chase scene for him. Yeah, all of that got added in to DBX in the game. Oh, even some of the sound effects too. Um, some sound effects that, well, at least like one sound effect I added in, and then there's the footsteps sound effect, which is actually a recording from a Little Planet video I made a while back, which was my gameplay of Ultanoob and Death Beyond Saving. Yeah, Hero just took the footstep sound from Ultanoob and then just put it in DBX. But then again, that's fine. I'm not complaining. I'm not mad. It's just, still, it's just, you know, ever since I read the patch notes, I was just really excited to play DBX. And I got to play a good amount of DBX. Oh, not to mention, he even got a really cool skin that turns into the fucking Roaring Knight. Yeah, DBX just released with a really cool skin. It turns him into the Roaring Knight from Deltarune. Now, of course, I just like to rock the default skin, because why not? But still, it's really cool that he has a skin that makes him into the Roaring Knight. So to you Roaring Knight fans out there, yeah, definitely enjoy playing DBX, especially if you want to rock the Roaring Knight skin. I'm just gonna stick with the default skin. I'll rock the Roaring Knight skin if I really feel like it, but still, really cool stuff. Um, that's all I really gotta say about DBX. Now it's time to talk about the next killer that was added into this update. Alright, next up is Baldi. Yes, Baldi also got added into the game. Now, Baldi works quite differently to unlike all the other killers. So, let's go over to his stats for a sec, and then we'll go over to his, well, ability. His only one ability. Um, so Baldi has 235 HP, which makes him quite tanky, actually. Um, and only one walk speed. Now, of course, one walk speed would sound really bad, but here's the thing. Like I said, he works a lot differently. You see, let's talk about his only one ability, which is his ruler. Now, how it works is that it pretty much works exactly like how he functions in the game. Because in Baldi's Basics, the actual game itself, the only way Baldi can move if he smacks his hand with his ruler. Basically, the same rule applies here with, well, Become the Killer Recode. The only way to actually move as Baldi is that, one, you pretty much have to smack your ruler as, well, Baldi. Oh, yeah, you actually have to move your character as well before you attack, because if you're actually standing still while attacking, he actually will not move at all. So you actually have to move your joystick if you actually want to, move after smacking your hand with the ruler. Now, of course, just like, and of course, you can actually attack with the ruler. It's just, of course, you have to activate the attack ability to, move and smack your ruler. But of course, if you actually touch a survivor after smacking a ruler, you will actually deal damage to them. Not only will it fucking blow them a distance away from Baldi, which is funny as fuck. It's really funny just seeing a survivor just get blown away. But it also deals a shit ton of damage too. Like, I'm not kidding. He actually hits like a truck. And despite the fact that he is pretty hard to play, I actually love playing as Baldi. He is actually really fun to play as. Going against him, he's actually fun to go against and playing as. Well, going against him really depends. Like, if you're just facing against Baldi by yourself, he's really not that bad. If you're going against Baldi and there's like a fuck ton of other killers with him, yeah, you might have to like just hopefully be lucky and not get swarmed. But he is fun to play as, though. I really actually enjoy playing as Baldi. It's really satisfying getting kills as Baldi. But anyways, that's all I really gotta say about, well, Baldi. Of course, Baldi has skins too, but yeah. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about Mr. Baldi. Alright, the next killer is the zombie. Yes, the good old classic zombie from Survive and Kill the Killer in Area 51. The zombie. Um so let's go over his stats and his ability. Zombie has 105 HP and 37 sprint speed. Now we got his one ability, which is his attack. When used, Zombie will swing both his arms out. And he actually does pretty good damage. So, not only is he slow, of course, and he's got, a medium amount of health, he actually does pretty good damage. Like, he can actually quite mess you up if you're not careful. But anyways, that's... Zombie is... I mean, he's just another basic killer. Like, he's slow, he's got decent health, but he hits like a truck, sort of, in a sense. Okay, not like a truck. He doesn't deal that much damage, but he does pretty good damage. Pretty much another basic killer. Nothing too crazy, really, but hey, he's there. Anyways, that's all I gotta say about Zombie. Alright. The next killer added into this update is the neighbor from Hello Neighbor. Yes, the neighbor from Hello Neighbor. Holy fucking shit, he is busted. Now I'll get to that in a moment why. But first, let's talk about his stats and his abilities. So, Neighbor has 140 health, so he's quite a little bit tanky, and he has 35 sprint speed. Now we go into his two abilities. We got his killer attack and his lasso. Let's talk about his attack first. When used, Neighbor will swing both his arms out. Not only that, he also does a little lunge. Yes, I'm not kidding. His attack is a lunge, which means, say it with me, you can do the tech with it. Which means if you attack and jump at the right time, you will gain further. You will pretty much do an even more longer lunge if you jump, of course. Now we go into its next ability, Lasso. Now Lasso works basically a little different. Basically, you have to be a certain distance close to a nearby survivor. Once you're near enough, it will show you ability. Okay, so basically you have to have Lasso equipped. If you are close enough to a survivor, it will basically give you the option to hold an action button to use Lasso on survivor. When you use Lasso on survivor, the survivor pretty much gets grabbed by the lasso and they pretty much become stuck. Not only that, they pretty much can't do that shit. Meaning that, of course, the lasso slowly drains their health. But here's what's really busted about lasso. Because of the fact that the survivor pretty much almost, and I'm saying almost, because some survivors can actually break out of the lasso. Like, some survivors can actually do it. But not only is it pretty much almost impossible to break out of the lasso, if there's many killers sticking with the neighbor, you're fucked. You're pretty much dead at this point. You're fucked. Because, like, it's only bad enough that you're pretty much stuck in place and you can't do anything about it. If there's, like, a fuck ton of other killers chase you at once and neighbor just so happens to grab you with the lasso, you're fucked. You're dead. There's nothing you can do. You're either going to end up dying to the killer because they're just damaging your ass so badly, or you'll just end up dying to the lasso because God forbid you're just low in health and you just end up dying to the lasso. Yeah, neighbor's busted. Now, yes, you don't get kills in return, obviously, if you just keep abusing the lasso, because, you need to get kills and shit. You want to get more money and tokens. I mean, obviously, you get money and tokens by passively anyway, as long as you're playing the game and not fucking camping the lobby all day. Like you actually have to play the game to passively get money and tokens. But yeah, it's just a really busted ability. Of course, like I said, some survivors can actually break out of the lasso. Like, I'm talking about, like, the survivors that can fight back. Like, the soldier, I think, and even, like, Riot Runner, I believe, too. But, like, survivors are pretty much just fucked once they get lassoed. Yeah, they're screwed. There's nothing they can do about that. Neighbor is fucking broken because of the fact that you can just lasso a survivor and they're just fucked. Again, some survivors can break out. but it's like, holy shit. What the actual fuck? I guess then again, some survivors can actually break out of the lasso themselves. I think the whole point of lasso is that the survivors have to. I think the whole point of lasso is that the survivor that get lasso is not meant to break out on their own. I think someone else is meant to free them themselves. Like someone else has to actually damage the neighbor in order for the lasso survivor to be freed. But then again, it's still freaking busted. Like survivor's just fucked at this point. But yeah, neighbor is just really overpowered. That's all I gotta say. Um, yeah, that's the neighbor. That's all I gotta say about neighbor. Okay, so just to let you guys know, this video did take me a while to actually make. For two reasons. One, I've been just spending a lot of time just playing this. I'm just gonna be honest. And two, when I've been trying to get a clip to play as the fucking tank, because here's the thing, in Recode, there's a limit to how many certain killers that could be in a match. So if one player picks the tank, it's like, fuck. Now I gotta hope they fucking die or something, or okay, not that kind of way. I hope they die. I meant like the character they're playing as. Now I gotta wait and hope that the tank player gets killed in the game so I can beat the tank. You know, I gotta wait. But eventually, I finally did manage to get a clip of playing tank because holy shit, it was kind of a pain trying to get this clip. So tank, let's holy shit, tank is OP in this game. Unlike Legacy, where he's just really slow, but he hits like a truck. No, in Legacy, he's just obviously he's slow, but like he's definitely less slow. If you get what I mean. Look, this motherfucker's OP. Okay, he's really strong. So let's go to his stats and his well, pretty much um his abilities. So, his stats. This MF has 350 health, making him the second tankiest killer in the entire game. And he has 37 sprint speed. Now we go into his two abilities. His first ability is his attack. He hits like a truck. Now we get to his second ability, the rock. Also hits like a truck. This guy, despite being somewhat slower than survivors, is overpowered. And I think I get why only one person can play as the tank. Because the tank is really, really overpowered. Which makes sense why only one person can play as the tank. Because holy fuck. Like, if you're going against a tank, okay, if you're going against a tank player that doesn't know what they're doing, then he's not that bad to deal with. God forbid you go against a tank player that knows how to play the game. Yeah, your team's cooked. This guy is overpowered. I'm just gonna say this right now. Him and Neighbor are definitely the most broken killers in the game. Like, because Neighbor, if he hits you with the fucking lasso and you got like many killers after you, you're fucked. Tank, you go get the tank player that knows what they're doing, you're fucked. Your entire team's cooked. Anyways, that's all I gotta say about the tank. Alright, so we're out of the killers now. We're done talking about the killers, the 5 new killers. That's still a fucking ton of killers, not gonna lie. Now we're gonna talk about the 2 new survivors. The first survivor we're gonna be looking at is the guard. And the guard has 3 items. The first item is a baton. It's a melee weapon. And unlike the other melee weapons, usually in Recode, when a killer or a survivor gets meleeed by a melee weapon, they usually have some kind of like end lag, you know? Like they would freeze in place for like a split second before they're able to move again. Now, the baton doesn't do that, which I guess it makes sense. I don't know. Like the baton is one of the only melee weapons that actually doesn't do that. It still damages the killer, obviously, but it doesn't like do the weird thing where like it freezes him in place for like a split second. But yeah, he has the baton, which deals less damage but fast cooldown. Then he got his second ability, which is like a radar, and instead of like tracking like your teammates, it actually tracks killer's location instead, basically letting you know, hey, go fuck this guy up. And then we got his last item, which is I'm assuming it's supposed to be a pistol or a Desert Eagle. I don't know which pistol it's supposed to be. I'm thinking it's a Desert Eagle or a pistol. I think it's a Deagle. I don't know. And how it works is that, you know, it's a pistol. You fire it. And of course, if you actually shoot the killer in the head, it does the weird thing I just mentioned. It would freeze them in place for a split second as they glow red. So guard is, oh yeah, and the stats. He has 115 health, and I believe he has 40 sprint speed, I think, if I'm correctly. I'm trying to look, yeah, 40 sprint speed. Um, Guard's not bad. He's not bad, really. He's okay. He's alright. He's not overpowered. He's specifically, like, he's kind of just decent. He's not overpowered. He's not weak. He's just decent, really. He's perfectly balanced. Um, Anyways, that's all I really gotta say about the guard. Alright, now we get to talk about the second new survivor added in, the shotgunner. So we're gonna look at his stats and his 3 items. So the shotgunner has 150 health. Obviously, quite tanky a little bit. And he's got 37 sprint speed. So he's somewhat a little slow, I guess. Now we get to his 3 items. The first item being, well, the nice walkie-talkie radio he has, which highlights your teammates. Now we get his main weapon, the Spaz 12. Now, unlike the normal shotgun, the Spaz 12 fires a little faster, except 2 downsides. It only has 4 shots. Then again, it reloads fast, so it's no biggie. However, its second downside, it has less range than a normal shotgun, so you actually have to be a little bit closer to the killer if you want to shoot them with the Spaz 12. Next up is the last item he has is the crowbar, which is pretty much a normal melee weapon, which again is pretty useful for most scenarios. Now shotgunner he's also pretty balanced as well, but he's also fun to play as too. I don't know, just having to use a fast firing Spaz 12 is pretty fun, I guess. Excuse me. But yeah, that's pretty much all I really gotta say about the shotgunner. And now we go on to, well, reworks. Yes, 2 survivors have been reworked. We're gonna go over to them right now. Alright, so the first survivor who actually got reworked is none other than Noobbot. Yes, Noobbot got reworked. So now let's look at how he works now, shall we? First off, his stats. He had 170 health, so he's still quite tanky. And 38 sprint speed, if I'm correct. Anyways, now let's go over to his 3 abilities. So his first ability is, well, track. Simple, just highlights your teammates. Now we got the main part of his rework, his weapon, the Ray Blaster. Unlike how he used to work in Recode before, where you just hold it, you keep running, and you just shoot, explosive bullets. Let's just say the Ray Blaster works differently, but is also quite stronger. So, the Ray Blaster kind of works similar to Juggernaut's minigun, where it has an overheat mechanic if you fire too much. Not only that, basically, when you hold the Ray Blaster out, Noobbot will aim his arm out. And there's like a short delay before you get a chance to fire. Now, once you start firing, it actually starts rapidly firing explosive bullets, which deals damage on either impact or it does blast radius impact too. Now we get to his last ability, communicator, where it doesn't really do anything. It's kind of more like I guess it's more of a way to be in character, I guess. I guess it's your way. I guess all communicator does is that basically Noobbot would just play some random noise and his head would shake like crazy. I guess it's pretty much like the sort of way of like Noobbot trying to communicate with other characters, I guess. Now, from what I've seen, Mech has the same ability too, communicator. So I guess that's really what it is. It's either meant, I guess it's meant to like taunt or just communicate with others. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention about DBX. When you use the Seif ability, if you actually look closely at DBX, because again, he has voice lines when you use the Seif ability. When you use the ability, he actually moves his head when he's speaking. So pretty nice detail to make their heads actually move when they're actually talking, which is nice. It's a nice touch. But that's really all I gotta say about Noobbot. Overall, really cool rework. Alright, so next up is, well, the scientist. Now, the scientist is actually, well, he got reworked. So, what does he do now? Well, let's look at his stats. So, he has 100 HP, 40 sprint speed. Alright. Now, let's go with, oh wow, 4 abilities? That's crazy. Anyway, so his first ability is, well, his radar. So, same thing. It just tracks your teammates. Now we get to his weapon, which his weapon used to be a pistol, but now his weapon's been replaced by a crowbar. And obviously, it's just a melee weapon that you can use to, well, melee killers, obviously. Again, pretty useful in some situations. Now we get to his main focus of his rework, his main ability, his shield. So obviously, his older version, you were obviously able to use a shield wherever you want, mainly to use to protect yourself from any sort of damage before it goes away. Now, it works exactly the same, except he has a secondary version of the shield ability. So of course he has the regular shield ability, where he just gives himself the shield and that's it. But then we got his other ability, Shield Share. Basically, you can actually, basically how it works is that you have to be near one of your teammates. If you're near enough while you're holding the ability, they will highlight the blue. If you click on the shield share ability to wherever survivor is highlighted, they will get the shield ability, which will also protect them from damage. Basically, Scientist just became fucking Sally from Sign.exe to Disaster. That's pretty much what Scientist just became. Just literally became Sally from Sign.exe to Disaster. Anyways, that's all I gotta say about Scientist rework. Very solid rework. Good job, Harry. You did good. Alright, so now we're gonna be taking a look at the new weapons that were added into this game. Now, I'm pretty sure you can only get these weapons from the shop, obviously. So you have to play as, well, yourself in order to use these. But you gotta purchase them from the shop in the lobby first in order to use them. Of course, they go away once you die, though. So don't die. Anyway, the first new weapon we're going to be taking a look at is the metal pipe. Basically, the metal pipe does, well, as it says, it does 17 damage, but it has a very quick cooldown. So it's a very spammable melee weapon. It's pretty good actually against like most killers with low HP. Cause again, yeah, it does less damage, but it's like stupidly spammable. Like you can just spam this fucking thing. Like I'm not kidding you. I got like many fucking like small clips where most of my kills are just literally just fucking killing killers with the metal pipe. Which, by the way, it will come soon. Don't worry. Anyways, yeah, that's the metal pipe. Now, the next weapon is definitely something I would fuck with. The Slayer. The Dragon Slayer. The Slayer is a big ass sword, and it deals a shit ton of damage. However, it has a pretty, somewhat, long cooldown before you swing it again. Well, obviously, the cooldown's not that long, but you get what I mean. It's a heavy weapon. You gotta wait for a bit to use it again. Just swing it again. And it does a shit ton of damage. Oh, and you can block with it too. And it's a special weapon. So, considering it's a special weapon, I'm assuming it's only there for a limited amount of time. Then again, I don't know. It says it's a special weapon. So if it is really there for a limited amount of time, well, what are you guys waiting for? Fucking use it before it goes away or something. And again, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's a limited time item or not. If it's actually gonna stay there for good or not. But hey, really badass weapon. And there's of course, it costs expensive, like 2,500 token, which makes sense. Actually, I think it's money. Actually, I don't know. Oh no, it's tokens. Yeah, it's tokens. Um, Now here's a big downside with the Slayer. Again, one thing, it costs expensive. Second, when only if one player, I'm not kidding when I'm saying this. If one player ever buys his weapon, and I'm not shitting you, 4-second cooldown before anyone has to buy it again. One person just has to simply purchase it, and everyone has to wait 400 seconds. I think 400 seconds. I could be wrong. I don't know, but they have to wait for a long fucking time in order for one other person to purchase it. which I guess it makes sense. It's a really OP sword, so it makes sense why you have to wait a long time for someone else to use it because it is an OP sword. Then again, someone can just wait patiently before they can purchase it themselves, and then they just go ahead and just completely wreck the killer. But yeah, really, really fun weapon and really powerful. Alright, so the last new weapon we're going to be taking a look at is the hunting rifle. It's a sniper rifle. It costs 400 tokens, and it requires 5 kills in order to be able to be purchased. Now, unlike the sniper rifle that the marksman use, it's not as powerful as basically the hunting rifle is the weaker sniper rifle. It's it's more accurate and versatile than the regular marksman rifle, but it's weaker. It basically does less damage. That's all I really gotta say about the hunting rifle. Nothing too crazy about it. It's just basically it's an easier sniper rifle to use, I guess. That's all I gotta say about the hunting rifle. Now, of course, there are new skins added to the game. I'm not gonna really. Okay, well, I'm gonna name like a good amount, but I'm not gonna be able to name all of them, I guess, because like I don't know. If you play the game yourself, you know what I mean. Like there are new skins in the game. Um, I am gonna name like a good amount as much as I can before I run out, before I end the video. So, Scientist has the Dr. Eggman skin, which turns him into Dr. Eggman from Sonic the Hedgehog. Really peak. And actually a skin I wanted to see in the game too, because Newbot has a skin that turns into Metal Sonic. So, and finding out that in the Become the Killer's lore, Scientist is actually the creator of both Mech and Newbot. So I thought, what if Scientist had a skin that made him into Eggman? And guess what? It's actually in the game now. So now if you want to be Dr. Eggman, just select Scientist, grind to unlock the Eggman skin, and you can be Dr. Ivo Robotnik. Um, and there are some other cool skins I can name as well, like the Roaring Knight skin for DBX, which is why I brought it before. Um, what else? The Cop skin for Guard. The Elliot skin for Medic, where it really turns Medic into Elliot from Work at a Pizza Place, I think, is what the game Elliot originates from before he got added to Forsaken. But yeah, Elliot. And what's next? Oh yeah, the samurai skin for Ninja, which is a milestone skin. You need to get 50 kills in order to unlock it. What else is there? Oh yeah, Tinky Tank. Ridley the Tinky Winky Tank for the Tank Zombie as a skin. Pretty cool. Um, what else? There's a retro skin for Zombie. Yeah, that's just about it. That's all. That's all. That's at least some of the skins I can name a few. Anyways, that's really it. That's all I gotta say. Hope you guys enjoyed this long video. Now, conclusion. What do I think about this update? Really amazing, actually. Like, 7 new characters, 5 killers, and 2 new survivors. 2 survivors got rework, which is awesome. 3 new weapons. Obviously, I really love the Slayer Sword. Again, it's quite bullshit. You gotta wait for a long time in order to purchase it if someone else already purchased it already. On the hunting rifle, it's okay. Metal pipe is just stupidly fun to use. I love it so much. It's just really fun to mess around with the metal pipe. Um, yeah, overall, really amazing update. Harry and Mana, you did a really good job. Oh, and another thing too, if you notice anything about the map, obviously the map looks the same. However, the map is actually a lot more bigger now. There's way more layers in the map now. It's insane. But anyways, I'm Busado Studios. That's all I gotta say about this amazing update. I will catch you all next time. Peace out, everyone.